Like to start the meeting for the Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission for Monday, October 13th at 2:25. We're starting at 7 p.m. First item on the agenda is called to order, and the next is approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes, or second.
We have a motion by Mr. Lexi.
I'll second that.
That's fine. I'll go with that.
And a second by Mr. Probst.
Yes.
Are there any questions about the minutes? If not, all those in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. I would like to point out that this is a commission of 9 members, and it requires a majority of the commission for anything to pass or to fail. So it requires 5 votes, one direction or the other. So it'll have to be at least 5-1 tonight or 1-5
Okay.
for anything to carry or be denied. Special requests and continuances, I see none. Oh, yes, sir.
Can I make a quick announcement?
Yes,
I just
Mr.
want to introduce Nikki Mueller to the Planning Commission, even though she's been in the planning department for several years. This is her first time coming to one of our Planning Commission meetings. And we will be rotating planners going forward, so there will be 2 of us who just don't know which we do, but you don't.
Welcome. I guess I've seen you around so many times, I didn't realize this was your first plan.
She's been lucky so far.
Sorry for your luck tonight. Special requests and continuances, I see none. Findings of fact, I also see none. Old business, again, none. Next, we'll move to old business from the floor. First item, oh wait, there is no old business. Is there any old business from the floor? Don't see it. Okay, new business. First item on the new business is PC 2025-059. It's the Auburn Manors change in commitments. This is a public hearing. Being so, they'll be allowed 15 minutes for the petitioner, and that'll be followed by up to 15 minutes for demonstrators. This will be followed by a 5-minute rebuttal by the petitioners and closed out by 5 minutes for demonstrators for closing remarks. There's someone who's planning to speak for the petitioner. Could you please state your name and address, and anybody who's planning to speak either way, could you please rise and be sworn in?
You swear on the perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge. Yes. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, this is ours.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Hi, my name is Caitlin Doper. I'm a land acquisition manager for Dre's Homes. Our office address is 900 East 96th Street, Suite 100, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Thank you.
So before you tonight, we are 2 items on the agenda. First up is a change of commitments. Second is a primary plat. I am standing in for my colleague Jacob Pierce. I also have Stu Huckleberry with me tonight, who can also speak on the petition. My understanding is the commitments associated with this property were never reported, and so we are looking to remove those commitments. Sorry, I'm turning it back. So at staff's direction, we're looking to remove those commitments on the property before we move forward with the primary plat approval.
Okay. Is there anything else on the side of petitioner? Hear this. Carry the ball.
But nope, that's it on the commitments. I can speak to the primary plat too at the same time.
No. We'll follow that up after this. Okay, are there any remonstrators who'd like to speak to this topic? Seeing none?
Those who took the oath, if you would like to speak, now is your opportunity on this particular petition.
And
I
this,
think we're interested in the primary plat.
Okay.
Well, that is next on the
That's
agenda.
and this is just the removal of what was previously submitted.
Yes.
Okay,
Or this is just a change in the
change,
commitments.
yeah.
Okay, seeing none, close the public hearing.
And that was
Mr. Talati or Ms. Mueller, is there anything that the planning department has on this? If it is?
Not really. No, it's pretty straightforward. Staff is recommending approval of determination of commitments. The commitments were associated with the proposed apartments that are no longer happening and is now looking at a single family residential development. So these commitments would cause some,
Issues.
yeah, a little tricky.
Planners, any questions or comments? Seeing none, I would accept a motion.
I move to approve the request to terminate commitments made to the Advisory Plan Commission concerning the use and development of real estate data in connection with the rezone of 11.51 acres of land located at 2231, 2197, and 2269 State Road, South State Road 135 by ordinance number 24-04 as presented because, one, the commitments have not been recorded, so the zone map change is not effective, and the subject property remains zone RL residential large lot zone. Two, the proposed development plan for the land has changed to a large lot single family subdivision that will comply with the UDO requirements for RL homes. And three, the commitments were intended for multifamily housing, and recording them would prohibit the development of single family homes. And to authorize and direct the commission president to to execute and deliver a memorandum regarding the termination of commitments regarding Common Council Ordinance number 24-04 to the Common Council and the commission's behalf.
Thank you, Mr. Lexi. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
He had his hand up. We have a motion by Mr. Lexi, a second by Mr. Milborn. Any last questions or comments on this topic? Seeing none, all those in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. We'll now move on to PC 2025-052, the Auburn Manors primary plat. Anybody who wishes to speak on this, please rise and we'll swear you in for this topic.
Swear to prove perjury, this was true to the best of your knowledge.
Thank you. Again, could you state your name and address for the record?
Yep, my name is Caitlin Dofer, land acquisition manager for Trees Homes. Address is 900 East 96th Street, Suite 100, Indianapolis, Indiana. As I previously mentioned, we are proposing a single-family detached subdivision called Auburn Manors. The plat before you complies with the RL zoning. We're proposing 24 single-family detached lots. All homes will comply with the RL zoning, and we're anticipating the average sales price of these to be about $700,000. Happy to answer any questions.
It's again sole speaker for the petition. Okay. Are there any remonstrators who would like to speak? Yes. Again, could you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, it's Anna Gridley. I live at 1222 Sienna Drive, Greenwood, Indiana, 46143. And I'm representing my mother and father-in-law who reside at 1689 Demery Road, just adjacent to Auburn Ditch side of where the development is planned. So I'm just some background. I'm a stormwater engineer, so of course I understand development is necessary, but of course have some questions in regards to the channel itself and the potential impacts to the development or to that channel and the drainage in the area by that development. Seeing that the primary plat is all that's available to the public right now, I guess some of my questions may need to be presented at a later time, but I wanted to at least present them as concerns for the developer to consider throughout the design process. Does that make sense? So I will just run through my concerns. Like I said, I understand that it might not be at a phase right now to be able to answer these, but wanted to throw them out there. Okay, So I see that there's a pond that is proposed in the primary plat. It doesn't really show where the outfall to that pond is gonna be located, so, just some questions as to, you know, where that exact outfall location will end up being in consideration with the conditions of the channel at that location. Obviously erosion is naturally occurring, it's probably happened at the location where that outfall may be placed in the channel, so just wondering if the developer has any plans to consider the impacts, or the existing condition of the channel and the potential increased erosion, from where the outfall might be placed. Secondly, obviously with the pond being so close to the channel and like within the easement limits, I'm not really sure what the easement looks like on the other side of the channel, but, are there any proposed tree removals for developing that pond? And if so, what kind of mitigation would be required? I'm not sure what the ordinance shows or requires in Greenwood or Johnson County, in comparison to in Marion County. So just concerns about trees being removed and just that natural barrier, kind of hiding development from, you know, larger parcels that may not see anything right now. And then I guess a question of what phase of design is this at, you know? Or I guess, this works. Just wondering what phase of design it's at, and then will design plans and hydraulic calculations be available by the public at any point in time if we do reach out with interest in seeing those, just to see what the pre and post construction runoff numbers are. Obviously, I know in Marion County we require that it to be equal to or less than the original runoff, but you know, always just a concern. Want to make sure that it's not overflowing the channel by any means. And then I guess have any considerations to the downstream portion of the channel and whether or not the channel can handle the additional proposed flows that would be coming from that development. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. And then I guess what is the plan as far as like elevations and raising the grade of the parcel? Obviously that can direct additional runoff, especially if you're adding impervious surface. So I know that that's just, I think just the overall concern is just capacity of the channel and then the current condition of the channel to be able to handle the additional runoff. I think that might be all, but give me just a second. Okay, yeah, and I think that there's another neighbor that may come up and speak on this, but I know right where the channel crosses under Demery, further west, closer to 135, there's a parcel that has experienced flooding. They have photos that they can provide, and I'm sure that we could give like a ballpark date as to when that rainfall event happened, so that way, you know, we can consider that rain event size. But just want to make sure none of the neighbors are experiencing flooding from this development. Again, we understand development is necessary, it's going to happen. We're happy to see it as a development neighborhood and not so much, you know, apartments or something else that would be more distracting. But we appreciate any of the answers that you have. Sorry, that was a lot.
It's quite all right.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak as a remonstrator? Sir, please come forward and give your name and address.
My name is Philip Pryor, I live at 1781 Demery Road, Greenwood. My property is one of the properties that she was just alluding to. I live first house off of 135. I live right here where the Auburn Branch Creek runs behind my property. I've got photos there in summer of 08. We had all that rain that everybody who lives down here remembers about. My property was flooded. I had 3 feet of water in my backyard. My whole backyard, which is dry now, was under 3 feet of water. I've got a finished walkout basement. It was all flooded. But my property, 1781 Demery Road, is the lowest property on Demery Road. And any of the runoff of this retention pond, it was my main concern. So I wanted to come up here and speak. It just water, the runoff from this retention pond, where is it going to? If it runs into Auburn Branch Creek, it's going to run right behind my property again. And the same culvert that got flooded in 08 is still there today. So my main concern is all this excess water when that retention pond, you know, God forbid, get another bad rainstorm like that, the 08 flood that everybody talks about, it just going to flood into that creek and flood my property again. So that was pretty catastrophic to me. I mean, I was on in the newspaper and everything else. They interviewed me about my property. So that was my main thing that I wanted to bring up here. the planning and all that goes along with that retention pond. They really made some concerns about that pond, Auburn Branch Creek can handle that. It's pretty wooded right now. I'm sure there's a lot of trees down into there. I'm really concerned about my property being flooded again. So that's all I've got to say. I've got pictures here if anybody wants to see them from that flood.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other remonstrators? Yes, ma'am. Again, please state your name and address.
I'm Charlotte Ridley, 1689 Demery Road, and mine is adjacent on the other side, directly on what, based off of this plat, will be the retention pond. And I'm just kind of reiterating that my concern is additional water. When I moved into my property back in the late 80s, that branch during the summertime and a lot of times during the year, there was not a flow of water. There was sporadic, puddles of water. And that's not during droughts, that's just the normal usage of that branch back there. There just was not enough water. But as they have added apartments, subdivisions, and things like that, we now have a steady flow of water at all times during the year. And it has, because it's not, no creek is a straight line, but you've got, your, horseshoe bends and stuff like that. The erosion is getting really bad to where it is not safe. I've personally paid for having trees removed because of the erosion, cutting underneath and falling in, just so to keep the dam, there's not a dam, to keep it flowing downstream, so it doesn't hurt, people upstream. And so I know that when I have, they have added different apartments, I've expressed concern, and the response was, well, we're responsible for this property. And so, but I understand that, but you still have to look downstream because it's affecting everybody downstream. So, as the retention pond, it's like Ann stated, elevation and stuff like that. But I also want to know who's, are you going to come in and look at the branch where it's going to affect? Because there is going to be, like I said, that used to be basically dry, and now there's a constant flow of water. And it's just eroding, and so is something going to be done to help protect the property owners? I mean, I'm not quite sure, what kind of, I've heard drains, legal drains, who's responsible, I don't know all the legalities, but I do know that, there's more and more trees falling down because of the erosion. And so I just want to make sure that, the elevation and the drainage, that we're protected.
Thank you very much. Are there any other remonstrators? Ma'am, you'll have to be sworn in. Well, just for this last one, I think.
Do you swear or affirm to the justice true to the best of your knowledge?
Thank you. Could you please state your name and address?
Okay, my name's Janet Stone Skaggs. I live at 3230 Clary Crossing, that Greenwood, that's south of Stones Crossing Road. I'm not here to talk about the drainage or anything. I was more or less wanting to know about the name of the property. I'm a descendant of a Stone, that name Stones Crossing. Elijah Stone was the founder of Stones Crossing, so I already heard you've already named it Auburn Trace, or whatever, manor. And I was hoping my sisters and I would like for it to stay Stone of some kind, Stone Edge, Stone Creekside, anything like that to keep it in the Stone family. He found that he came here from Ohio in the 1800s and found that Elijah Stone. There's a plaque at Stones Crossing right by the Taco Bell that tells all about the man that founded that. And that was what my concern, our concern was. We'd like to keep it Stone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other remonstrators? Seeing none, I'd like to ask the petitioner if they'd like to have 5 minutes for rebuttal.
Mr. Lopez, will you read us through the best of your knowledge?
Hello, my name's Matt Maple. I'm with HWC Engineering, 135 North Pennsylvania, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a civil engineer for the project. We have looked at a lot of drainage. We have full calculations done for the whole project. The pond has been designed per Greenwood standards. I don't know if you're familiar with Greenwood standards. The way it works, at least per our design, I know you're concerned about disturbance. Our plan is to not disturb the branch as much as possible. We want to stay on our side, not get into the branch at all. That's the ideal situation. So there is a discharge point on the pond at the far west end of the pond. We will rip wrap. We will provide whatever is required to try to stabilize that and do as best as we can. I'm sure there's a standard that the town might have, city might have, things like that. We'll follow that. At least that's the plan. As far as calculations, we'll submit those to the city. It should be public records. It should be available. But, we can talk outside of this if you've got contact information. As far as the overall concerns with the drainage, the way a pond like this functions is it collects all the water on the site that's currently going to the ditch, holds it back, and then releases it at a slower rate. So theoretically, the water going into that branch is going to be reduced throughout a storm event, and it will trickle out. So that's the whole plan of a pond like this, is to trickle out the pond so that it drains out over a slower amount of time. So in theory, it should improve the conditions downstream, to not wash out and stuff like that. So that is the intent of this pond, to have one collection point, stop everything, almost like a dam, if you will, collect it all, and release it at a slower rate. As far as the flows, we're going to follow the ordinance, the Greenwood ordinance. I think we've already done the calculations, so this pond is sized correctly to do that. It's got extra storage on the banks to account for that, so that with the storm events, that it doesn't overtop the banks. It's designed to collect all the area. We kind of retrofitted it a little bit. We had it in the middle, we moved it farther to the east. Just for several reasons, to make it bigger, because we needed to make it bigger to account for all the drainage. So where it's at right now, it meets the ordinance requirements. As far as design and flows and elevations, that will all be available. We should have plans to submit. They're already done. We just haven't submitted them yet because we're waiting to get through this process. Erosion and the trees and stuff, that there will be stuff on our side of the ditch that will get taken out and all of that. But again, that's kind of our demarcation line, if you will, is that ditch. We're going to try to stay on our side. I think that answers all the questions that I had written down. I don't know if there's anything specific, anything else, but answer any other questions.
Okay. Anybody else on the petitioners? If not, then we'll have 5 minutes for the demonstrators.
My name is Phil Pryor. I understand what he's saying. To me, I still have some serious doubts on that, but the water trickling out, because I've seen the creek, like Charlotte said, that the water is coming through there. Rarely does it dry up like it used to. I've lived there for 30 years now. But I've seen it when you get the rains, just rains, not counting anything to this, the retention pond, and all the water that's going to be dumping in there. That creek can come from just, this much water to this deep quickly. And with this other, I just still have some major concerns about the water coming out of that retention pond and just trickling into the creek. It's still going to add the water to it in more volume. And I really got some concerns about that. It's going to give me some restless nights about that, because once you live through floods like that, you're sitting there, you're just at the mercy of the water. I think some serious more planning needs to be done on that, but that's not a big creek. So, I'm not an engineer, so I can't say, that they haven't, done their homework on all that stuff. But I really still have some concerns about that creek coming up quick, because I've seen it happen many, many times over the 30 years I've lived there. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any other demonstrators who would like to have closing remarks?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Quite all right.
Yeah, my concern is too, I just want to make sure, is there, I mean, okay, you've met their ordinance, you said, and stuff like that. But I know that I have seen surveyors on my side of the property, you know, then, and I'm assuming they were, you know, with you guys. Have you taken the time to walk the creek just to see the condition? I know that you're saying you're just gonna stay on your side, but it's going to affect the creek. I mean, let's face it, it is. We know that everything additional development has affected the creek. And it comes to a point, at what point in time, somebody takes responsibility, one of these developers takes responsibility, and it's, you know, instead of it always falling on, you know, the homeowner. When we've done everything within our standard, you know, we've tried to maintain, I mean, I've removed the trees, so there's no dams, but at what point does somebody else take responsibility instead of, yes, okay, we've met the guidelines, well, maybe those guidelines need to be taken a step further to where we can see what happens downstream. And so that, I just wanna make sure of that, because like I said, I know the erosion, I know the condition of some of the sides of the creek, and it's just not safe, you know, for any additional water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other closing remarks by remonstrators? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Kelly, you're one who knows these things. The 2008 rain event, was that a 100-year flood or a 500-year?
I think somewhere between. It was definitely over 100 years. I know.
We lost a good bit of Franklin.
I know in the city of Greenwood, we did go around to several neighborhoods that we thought may have damage. I think there was one location down off of Broadway that it got real close to going into the home, but I don't know of any that got into a home, but maybe his did. I'm not sure if it did or not.
It did.
Yeah.
It was in my garage,
Yeah.
I got a finished basement, walkout basement, it was in my home.
Yeah, but yeah, that
You
was,
shouldn't have a finished basement.
that was a huge storm event, definitely, and it was not 100 years. No,
It was more than,
definitely older.
not that you can't have 200-year floods
True.
within 100 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Any comments or questions or?
I guess my question for the planners or engineers is, isn't it the case that our ordinance requires development to cause less runoff than what we're seeing today?
Yes, that is how the ordinance is set up. Yes, it's supposed to be less. We've even went more restrictive over the last 7 to 10 years with our allowable release rates off of any development.
So hopefully development will improve the situation that exists today.
That, yes, that is the intent, yes, that it should actually help the downstream situation.
And city engineering will look at the calculations for this project.
Yes, we will. We have an outside consultant assist us with that also. And, you know, we can talk about some of those erosion issues downstream as far as maybe riprap or something like that. We can discuss that with the developer.
That sounds good.
Mr. Johnson.
We can discuss whatever stormwater feels is appropriate.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm assuming that the single family subdivision will be less dense and have less impervious surface compared to a multifamily project that was proposed before.
Yes, yeah. In most cases, yes, that is.
So a single family is more, reduces runoff compared to a multifamily project.
Right, there shouldn't be as much hard surface, but then again, the pond, no matter what kind of development it is, the pond should be designed to handle whatever that increase in hard surface is.
I see, thank you.
And the technical review committee gave a favorable recommendation for this project, is that correct?
That is correct. There are 6 conditions that were part of that recommendation from the TRC. I will say, number 6, contingent upon approval letter from outside review, we actually do already have. It came in after the TRC, but before the meeting.
Okay.
So they're good on that, but we still would recommend conditions 1 through 5.
So, recommendations 1 through 5 should probably be a part of any motion that we have. Yeah. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I would accept the motion.
I move to approve the proposed primary plat of Auburn Manor submitted by Dries Premier Homes docket PC 2025-052, subject to the first 5 technical review committee conditions, because the primary plat complies with Unified Development Ordinance subdivision standards, and to direct the president to sign on the commission's behalf the notice of determination and written findings regarding the approval of the primary plat as prepared by the planning director.
Second.
We have a.
Is that subject to the 5 conditions?
I said to the.
Oh, sorry.
Well, and I clarified it to say the first 5, that way it's clear.
Thank you.
So we have a motion by Mr. King and a second by Mr. Milburn. Any last questions or comments before we move to a vote? All those in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Ben, would you like to know what those are? The ordinances? The actual conditions for that, and of course, our stormwater ordinances and manual are available online on the stormwater department website. Technical review committee report is a public record document. You can have this and it will have the conditions that they just put on the plat. If you'd like to see that.
Here's a second copy in case you have somebody else.
Okay, thank you, sorry. You're
welcome. And the next item on the agenda is also a public hearing. It's PC 2025-061. That's 4.
Well, staff report says 4.
That's a 5.
Hey,
I'm just reading it wrong.
I'm just reading a staff report, that's all.
So I'm assuming it's PC 2025-061. The McCrary subdivision plat vacation. As this is a public hearing, anybody who wishes to speak either for or against this, please rise and we'll swear you in.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, it says 062.
that is the second one. That is the zone map change. We're on the plat vacation, vacating the previous plat.
To remove lots 1 and 2 from the plat.
Property on it.
That has the house and stuff on it? Is it all one thing? You guys are calling it 2 things, but it's all the same place, right?
Yes.
It's
Same
Lots
location,
1 and
lots
lots
1 and 2.
Okay.
There's 8, 9 lots across there.
No,
Yeah, that's
13, there were 13 lots.
13.
4 have already been vacated years ago, so there's,
So this will vacate lots 1 and 2.
yes. One of those does have a house on it.
that's not us. We were just kidding.
Welcome to our world. So is there anybody here to speak for or against this? Online?
Yeah, online. My name is Andy Girdham. I'm with Girdham Engineering LLC, 13520 Shakamak Drive, Carmel, Indiana.
Further, I'm gonna need to swear you in.
Okay.
Do you swear on the claims perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Okay, I apologize. Could you repeat your name and address?
I'm sorry, did you say repeat your name?
Yeah, name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Andy Gerdom, Gerdom. I'm the engineer on the project. I work for my own company, Gerdom Engineering LLC, at 13520 Shakamak Drive, Carmel, Indiana. And I'm here representing the owner, Praveen Rajanahali. And I see that one of his associates is online as well. So, and I'm just here to answer any questions, really. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just a vacation of the 2 lots. There's already been a vacation in that subdivision, but we are, as you see, based on the next petition, looking to vacate the 2 lots in order to replat that 2 lots of the subdivision. So, any questions? I'm open for questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here to speak against this? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Comments by planning.
Staff is in favor of the plat vacation. This is basically a technical step to move on to the next part, where it would hopefully be rezoned and replatted for the project. The reason for the plat vacation is the way the plat is written currently, it would not allow anything besides a single family home. I need to mention that they've already vacated a significant portion of this plat for commercial purposes. So this would fall in line what's already been done.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions, comments by the commissioners? Seeing none, I would accept a motion.
I move to approve the petition filed by Praveen Rajanahali to vacate lots 1 and 2 of the McCreary subdivision plat because 1, conditions in the platted area have changed so as to defeat the original purpose of the plat. 2, it is in the public interest to vacate part of the plat. And 3, the value of that part of the plat, 3, the value of the part of the land in the plat not owned by petitioner will not be diminished by the vacation. To direct the president to sign on the commission's behalf the notice of determination regarding the approval of the vacation is prepared by the planning director, and to direct the petitioner at its expense to furnish a copy of the notice of determination to the county recorder for recording.
We have a motion by Mr. King to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Lexi. Any last questions or comments before we proceed? Seeing none, all those in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Now we will move on to PC 2025-062. That's the East County Line Road zone map change. Anybody who's planning on speaking either in favor or opposed to this, please rise and we'll swear you in.
We rose too soon earlier.
Do you swear to witness perjury, testimony true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
The gentleman online, were you sworn in for the second one?
Once again, Andy Gerdom, I guess I would need to be sworn in again, so.
Do you swear to witness perjury, the testimony true to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
You bet.
Mr. Gerdon, you may proceed.
I'm sorry, caught me off guard there. So what we're trying to do here right now, as you saw in the last petition, was to prepare for development of some duplexes on that site. So we have filed for the primary plat already, but we've got to get this rezoned prior to so that it would allow duplexes under the zoning. So as you know, the RM zoning does not allow that. We would have to go to an RA zoning, and that is the reason for this zoning request.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Is there anybody here who would like to also speak in favor of this? Seeing none, we'll move to Anybody who would like to speak as a remonstrator? You get 15 minutes total.
Okay.
You'll say it to
Hi, thanks for letting us speak today. My name is Darla Connor. I live at 1034 North Paws Drive, Greenwood. I'm here with my aunt who lives right next door to the property we're talking about. She's been there for 31 years. Her and her late great husband, my Uncle Dave, when they bought that place, it was like being out in the country. It was nothing like the Sherman and County Line intersection it is today. And to stick with the theme of the other place, drainage used to be a big problem in the back there. The city took care of that and they had somebody come in and fix it. So now the draining works. However, where this property is, where they want to build this multi-family unit, right now, it's tight. And the person that owns this, a lot of things are let go and they fall to the people that lives around there, such as maintaining the grass, snow removal, anything. So we have some concerns and some questions for you guys because we don't know how this all works. So is he renting or selling the properties? And if so, I mean, in the petition, it says that it's because to address the lack of housing in Greenwood. Well, if he's renting, there's all kinds of apartments for rent in Greenwood now that are vacant. And besides the drainage, I mean, what is it going to do to that intersection, which is already stressed to the max, just like all of County Line Road? Where will the entrances be? And it's going to bring crime right there to that neighborhood when they start doing this construction. You know, you have all these homeless people traveling from 31 to Emerson now. And it's a full-time job for the police just to keep them from panhandling. Is the city going to put cameras up at that light so we can see what's going on there, so you guys can kind of get a handle on the crime right there, because that's right at the County Line Road. And what about a fire hydrant? These guys earlier were talking about where that subdivision is going to be. There's a retention pond. Well, now there's no place for them to build that there and build a pond. So that's another issue we'll have right there. If once that this goes in, if it's approved, will that automatically make the houses right next door commercial? And if so, will that automatically make their taxes go up? I think that's all for me.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak as a remonstrator? Please come forward.
My name's Betty Asher, and I own the properties at 87 East County Line and 101 East County Line. And we've been there, the longest people on that street. Matt and then Brandon would be next. And we're concerned because if you're gonna build 4 houses there on 2 plots with 8 families, that means if they have little children, that's 16 more cars on that intersection. We don't need any more. We don't need any more traffic there. And it's hard to get in and out of the driveways. And I'd like to know how he's gonna put that many families on 2 plots.
Okay.
He's planning on putting 8 families on 2 plots. Am I correct?
I think it's 2 duplexes.
It's a
4
4
families.
quads.
2, yeah, 4. So that's 8 families on that corner. And if anybody travels up and down County Line Road, there is accidents every day. Every day. And not only that, I was out working in my yard about 3 months ago, and I just happened to walk away, and a guy ran off the road. And I mean, was making a U-turn. right where I was at, and I just happened to leave. We do not need any more traffic down there. And 8 more families with 16 cars, and that's assuming if they don't have any children driving. Where are you gonna go? Where's the driveways gonna come out? There is no room. It's crowded in there as it is. I don't see where you can put 8 families on that corner lot. And it says here 3,000 square foot houses. There's no way. There's no way you'll get 4 houses in there at 3,000 square foot each one. So I don't know whose leg he's pulling, but it's not gonna get 4 houses at 3,000 square foot with 2-car garages. I mean, that's what's on the paperwork here, so I'd like to see how he's gonna do it before it starts.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak?
Can I ask something else? Oh, I'm sorry. Where she's talking about, if you're familiar with it, when I was talking about the drainage ditch right there at the light, how this, we've been out there and we've tried to figure out how this layout would work because the land that drops off into this ditch, you guys have a great big cement bridge culvert thing, so what's gonna happen to that? I mean, because that's obviously gonna back all that up. So again, with the drainage, we're worried about, and then like obviously a fire hydrant or something there, because it's gonna be impossible if something happens in that area for them to get to us. So, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Devin Bossingham, here with my wife. We live at 1189 Jody Court, Greenwood, 46143 is directly butts up against, probably the most affected by this property of anyone that could be speaking, I think. Just right on the other side, so it's, county line, the lot, us. I did kind of want to reiterate some of the traffic concerns. Not only are there multiple accidents there a month, there's multiple serious accidents a month. We can see the stoplight from our house, and there's sirens out there, probably seems like at least once a week for like a serious accident. We had some neighbors that have been in serious accidents, so I do have concerns about how the traffic would flow. I don't think there needs to be anything else obstructing views there. This is my first time with anything like this, so I'm trying to, kind of understanding what's going on here. I understand it has a zone, currently. I don't entirely know what that means, but I would assume that it's, for rezoning for a purpose, is to get more families and more housing in there. I think if anybody in this room, if you could choose between having the potential of 8 families behind your house or, 1 or 2 or whatever would be there in place of that, I think it would take less. And I saw some head shaking when she mentioned crime. I don't know that it would bring more crime, but introduce 8 more families, and if they're renting, I think it's safe to say that renters don't always have the same care for the long-term outlook of the neighborhoods as people that are owning houses. We have 3 small kids. We do have a privacy fence up, but the way that the land slopes down, you can see over it. Kind of worries me to have, again, the potential of 8 families of people right against this, not to mention the disruption with, the building would cause behind this. So just, again, kind of some similar concerns. We do have questions about the potential timelines of it, things like that. How that would affect, our ability to leave the neighborhood, those sorts of things. Sorry, I'm trying to think about anything else off the top of my head here. Yeah, I guess those are the primary concerns. Again, I think if it was 1 or 2 houses would fit on that area normally. I'm sure I read some things in here about how it allegedly wouldn't affect the value of the property and stuff. I do have concerns about that. They brought up some big questions. I don't know what that would look like. Moving's not the easiest thing right now with the way interest rates are and things like that. We've done a lot of work on our house to build it up and to add to the value of the community. I'm sure it makes a lot of sense for the person trying to build them as far as bringing money into them. I don't know how that would help us. It says it doesn't have any negative effects on the community, but I think you've kind of heard that there's a lot of concerns from the people directly surrounding it. That's all I have for now, so I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Please come forward.
Hello, I'm John Rodling. My mother lives at 137 East County Line Road. It's right next to the property that we're talking about. And I just kind of wanted to echo some of the same sentiments that other people have mentioned. Traffic's horrible there. It's so bad that I can't turn left out of my mother's driveway. I turn right. And I end up going immediately Sherman Drive through the neighborhood just to get to Old Meridian. And I've seen so many accidents. Last winter, there was someone who came off the road and went into my mother's yard and almost hit her house. That's just one occurrence. There was another occurrence a decade ago where somebody had a seizure on County Line Road and hit a crabapple tree in my mom's front yard, and then hit it in reverse and hit her mailbox. There's just been so many instances. And I'm thinking in my head of all places that we need to add housing in Greenwood, to me, that area would be one of the last places I would pick. My other reservation that I have is just security. I wonder what it's going to be like at my mom's property with, you know, all these houses or duplexes. I don't know, I just have reservations about things like that. Like, is there going to be a fence? Is there going to be some sort of barrier? How does that look? Just things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Not, then we'll move on to rebuttals by the petitioner.
Mr. Gurdon.
I'm sorry, I did not hear that. So.
Ready for rebuttals by the petitioner?
Oh, very good. Yeah, let me, and I appreciate all the comments. I understand that it's scary when something like this comes in. Let me start out by saying that the intent of these units are for sale. So that if that quiets some of the comments, that's great. But they are intended for sale. There is a need for this in that area from a standpoint of a little bit more affordable housing. So there is this need for these sale units, and we believe that they would be purchased very quickly. Second of all, the retention, I think you heard it in one of the last petitions. The drainage will be taken care of as part of the next filing, actually, and that was filed last Friday, and that is for the primary plat. Once again, we're not allowed under the ordinance to increase drainage, your runoff, so that it should not be an issue because we cannot get that approved. I mean, maybe we've tried in the past, but you can't get it done, so it's doesn't follow the ordinance and therefore cannot be approved. I think there was one comment about a 3,000 square foot home, and if that's on that petition, I think that was a mistake. Originally, there was some thought about the size of these homes being 3 stories. That is not the case. That the situation is a 2-story home now. It has a 400 square foot garage. The floor plate of the entire first floor is 1,000. So the second floor is about 1,000. So the most it would be is right at about 2,000 square feet. And these are duplexes. So if that answers any questions. And lastly, as far as the traffic goes, you know, this is an arterial. There is traffic, obviously, on arterials. It has grown, I'm sure. All the traffic in these areas has increased. We would work with the engineer to mitigate what we could there. And I'm sure we'll have to go through that as we move forward with the next filing, which is the primary plat. So those are, I guess, my statements as much as I can help calm people and help them with their concerns. But it would be open to meet with everybody too and go through it, you know, at some point whenever before the primary plat or even after. So, but we would be looking at anything we could do to buffer it even with to the adjoining neighbors, whether it's potentially a fence or something like that. So, but those things will come in the next filing, not as part of this rezoning. So those would be my answers. So.
Okay, thank you. And we'll switch over to the remonstrators for closing remarks. 5 minutes.
Okay. I feel like we're gonna be friends when this is all over.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so are they only gonna sell them, or are they gonna rent them up until they're sold? That's one of my questions, and the other one is, how much, because they're saying that it's affordable housing, okay? And back to the fence and all that, how long are we looking at for construction? And is there gonna be security on the site then? Because like I said, the homeless population on that road now is ridiculous. And if they have a place where they can go, like my cousin said, we're worried about the security of the people that live behind where this is. And then my aunt, of course, who lives right next door. And to be honest, the way it's been going since he's been renting, the rent was high for the area, so people would move extra people in. And then they always had these giant pit bulls that took some kind of road chain to keep them from jumping the fence, which they did knock the privacy fence down trying to get to my aunt. So, you know, not just the people that are moving there. If he is renting them out, we have concerns about his ability to maintain the property as well. Thank you.
Mr. Gorgon, do you have responses to those?
Sure. So the site will be secure to help with that concern. So the site will be fenced during construction. This has become kind of a construction issue that has happened because the liability that exists today in the construction field with people wandering on sites, and you know, we avoid that attractive nuisance situation of people coming onto the site. So the whole site would be fenced during the construction period. And it would also, I would assume, we haven't decided on this yet, or the owner hasn't decided on it, but would also have online cameras going as well on the site to make sure that there were no people hanging out on the site that weren't supposed to be on that site. The question of, are they going to be rented prior to sale? It is my understanding that they are going for sale. That is the situation, that the sale price would be somewhere in the $350,000 range, $350,000 range. A lot of that hasn't been decided fully yet because the detail on the exterior of the homes has not been fully decided yet. We have some renderings of the existing duplexes, but they are not finalized. So that, but it will be in that price range to answer that question.
Thank you very much.
Can I speak towards the demonstrators and what their question was, and I don't think they stated it as well. May I speak or?
Please.
Thank you. We're in over our heads for
Thank you. Linda Gibson, 201 Elm Street, Greenwood, Indiana. I am on the city council in District 1. These folks are in my district. And I can tell you, going all the way back to 1980 when John came on the council, that's always been a cluttered corner and difficult. So I think the remonstrators would be much more comfortable if there was a commitment made that the houses would be sold and that there would be some type of fencing there. They're still not going to be comfortable with it because there is so much craziness that goes along that way. And so if you have renters, you've got more of the potential of having even more than you already have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to remark for you all that this developer may actually develop them and sell them, but anybody that buys a property can rent it. There's no rental restrictions for somebody that may buy it from this person that develops
Can they
it.
put a commitment on that?
Well,
The stipulation
you know,
in
then we
that.
get into the whole alienation of properties, and that there are some legal concerns with that.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I have something else too.
Okay, this will have to be the last thing.
Okay, we're sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, I've been there since the late 70s, and I've seen it go from a 2-lane road to what we have now, to an interstate. And they took part of my property on the front. And then, I would like to have something in writing. First off, the correct measurements of that property instead of 3,000 square foot as to what he said. Because he gave us the wrong measurements. But now he's saying they're gonna be smaller. So he needs to put it in writing if it's gonna be legal. And then, I would like to have something too that says they cannot be rented. I've been there a long time, I've seen a lot of changes, I had farm across the street, farm behind me, and everything else.
I think our city attorney just covered the rental aspect of it.
Okay, and then, I wanna know, isn't there a stipulation where every house is supposed to get a letter about this meeting?
We'll handle that when we get into staff response.
Okay, but not everybody that lives there got letters.
We'll get into that when we get into staff response, okay?
Okay,
Okay, with that, close the public hearing. One thing before we get started, I would like to point out, for those that may or may not know, in Indiana, the roads on the southern border of a county are the responsibility of a county to the north. So County Line Road, including whatever easements are on the south side of that, is part of Indianapolis. That intersection is part of Indianapolis. We can't put cameras on it. We can't do anything like that.
Okay, well, we didn't
I have a
know.
question then. Why does Greenwood Police stop you then and give you a ticket if you're on the north side of the road at County Line Road?
You'd have to ask Greenwood Police Department that question. I don't know.
So it's legal in one aspect, but not in another. Okay, we'll let it go.
I don't know. I imagine
Okay.
police can give it to, I don't know what the jurisdiction is for the Greenwood Police Department.
Okay.
I'll start with, planning.
Yes.
Comments, questions, concerns?
I guess to start off with, this is just for the rezoning of the property. We are
Yes.
not approving a site plan at this time.
Correct.
So what has been proposed is not set in stone, it could change. I know he was originally talking about 3,000 square feet, and I've been talking with a few people on behalf of petitioner, and they've kind of worked it down to 1,600 square feet, but
that has nothing to do with rezoning.
this is just the proposed idea.
Thank you.
So right now, what board is tasked with is, should this be rezoned from residential medium to residential attached? At some point, I know someone mentioned commercial zoning, that's not part of this, it's still residential.
And it doesn't affect properties outside these two.
Correct, it does not. So it will not change anyone else's zoning, it'll be the same zoning as the properties directly to the east and south.
Oh, east, on the other side of Sherman.
Yes, which are
RA.
duplexes.
That's all right.
Yes. Staff is in favor, we are encouraging different types of housing within the city as opposed to single family, which we have a lot of, so there's plenty of choice on that. We don't have basically condos, townhomes, things of that nature in any significant quantity. I know the concerns of renting, I think that's been covered, we cannot enforce whether it's rented or not, there's just no way for us to do that. Otherwise, a lot of the other details really, it's too early to be worked out. Those will be worked out during plan review, which is several steps away. So I can't really comment as to what they have now.
So there will be future filings on this property.
Correct.
Residents can attend.
Okay. But if he's rezoned, let's say he wins to get it rezoned, who says he can't, since he's gonna change the measurements on the property, on the houses, who says he can't come back and put a condo or something else in there, several condos? You're saying this is just for the rezoning?
This is just for the zoning. This is not to establish the buildings.
Right, but then he could come back after you guys approve, let's say you approve it, he could come back and say, well, I'm gonna change my mind, I'm gonna put condos on it.
As long as he meets the zoning, you need to look at the
So
zoning.
he could do that.
Well, he can follow the zoning.
We can't say for sure what he could put on there at this time, but it's gonna be limited based off the size of the
Yeah.
lots.
Ms. Gibson?
I
I guess I have the same concern that they're saying that, you know, usually when someone comes in for rezoning, they pretty much tell you what they're going to do. And at this point, it seems like it's an open book that once it's rezoned.
I can let you know that that is not the case. I've spoken with the petitioner quite often. He is very invested in the community. He's wanting to build something nice. He changes his mind quite a bit. That's why we don't have something set yet. This, where we're at now, is most likely how it's going to be, but it's not a guarantee that it's going to look exactly like the proposed plan that we have at this time.
He wants to build something nice, but he's not gonna live there. We are.
Is there any questions, comments by the commission?
I've just noticed looking at this property on the Beacon, that there are a lot of other duplexes down the street on the other side of Sherman. This zoning request would basically make these lots consistent with the area.
Extend it further west.
Correct.
By 2 lots.
Yeah. And did I see was a condition or a commitment to only one driveway? Was that for both lots or one driveway per lot?
Yes, and thank you, Nikki, for
Do you wanna
reminding
see
me.
the
There were
picture?
5 conditions proposed with this. The first recommended condition was that this development shall be in compliance with the building design standards outlined in our Unified Development Ordinance. 2, a single curb cut on the county line road shall be utilized for the development. So just one, all these will come off of one shared driveway, like almost like. Sorry?
However many are built.
Yes. Third condition, garages shall not front on county line road. They're going to be turned back inward towards the driveway and that comes in at a cross. Fourth condition, a multi-use trail connecting all the way to Sherman Drive, designed and built in accordance with the Greenwood Future Trail Network map and comprehensive plan recently adopted. And the last one is petitioner shall collaborate with Indianapolis to establish a safe crossing at the traffic light on County Line Road to connect the trail on the north side. Since our city does not have any jurisdiction over the right of way, Indianapolis will have final determination regarding any improvements for pedestrians. One other thing that was brought up was the notice. It was sent out to everyone within 300 feet of those 2 properties. I do have the sort of certificate of mailing showing that that was done. That is all that is required by our code.
Okay, well, she lives in the house next to the property, and then the guy that lives next to her, he got one. The 2 houses in between there didn't get one.
Do they own the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I own the other, and I got one, but they skipped 3 houses.
Well, I can say this, and I probably shouldn't, the postal service is not the best at delivering things. All I have proof is that they were mailed, and I apologize that you didn't get there, but
Planning has to keep receipts that they were mailed. They get the little cards and those are on file.
I guess my point about the driveways was it looks like we're actually going from 2 driveways to exit. Even though that vacant lot has a driveway, there's nothing there.
No, we know of, no.
It's got an apron.
It has the easement that goes down in behind there.
So there's-
That's the only thing it's.
So there's room for a driveway there. We're gonna.
There's room for it, okay.
And there's an existing driveway on the place where there's a residence.
Yes.
But now we'll be going from 2 to 1. We're only gonna have 1 driveway for this whole development. So I think that mitigates the traffic concern quite a bit,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay, when you're gonna get ready to sell that property, who's gonna own the 1 driveway that all of them have to use? That doesn't make sense. I mean, I know that's between the buyer and the seller, but still.
They'll have an easement.
Those 2.
I have a question for our senior planner, Mr. Talati. The zoning around the property, is it the same or is it more intense or less intense? Your proposed zoning is AR?
Current zoning?
RA?
Yeah, it's RA to the east, everything to the east and to the south would be RA, and residential to the west. Yes.
RM,
Yeah.
according to the map, south.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, I'll accept the motion.
Well, now,
Oh.
I would like to
Thank you.
remind you of the statutory criteria that you're supposed to pay reasonable regard to in making a recommendation. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, the current conditions and the character of the current structures and uses in each district. 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood. And 5, responsible development and growth.
Now I will accept a motion.
I'll run one up the flagpole.
Thank you, Mr. Lexi.
I move that the petition for a zoning map change to rezone approximately 0.80 acres of land located at approximately 141 East County Line Road within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from RN residential medium lot zone to RA residential attached single family zone as set forth therein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented with the 5 commitments previously stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a favorable motion by Mr. Lexi. We have a second by Mr. Probst. Are there any comments anybody would like to make before we go to a vote? Seeing none, all those in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-1. Since we have a 9-body member, 5 is enough for the motion to carry. The next item on the agenda is the BZA and planning meeting schedule for 2026. I believe everyone probably already received one of these. One item on here that I would like to mention to everybody is the May 25th meeting. May 25th is Memorial Day. That will be moved forward to Wednesday, May 27th. All the rest of the meetings are on Mondays. There are 3 5th Monday training session meetings planned by our illustrious planning department. And they will be scintillating, and I seriously encourage everyone to attend all of these.
I will say that the 2 later training sessions are going to be tied to the UDO that we are hopefully will be very close to adopting by that time. But they will be exciting.
And for anyone who has not attended them previously, the refreshments that they always bring are just fabulous.
Best bottled water we can find.
And it's fabulous.
Okay, we have a motion on this meeting schedule.
Yes, this has to be approved.
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Mr. Lexi. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Probst seconds.
Yes.
Assume there are no comments on it prior to voting. All in favor, please show by raising a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. We have a schedule through December of next year. Is there any new business from the floor? Announcements.
I will be traveling during the next meeting, will not be in attendance by Zoom or in person.
Thank you well in advance. Sorry, I was making a note. Any other announcements? If not, is there a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.